So who do you think is responsible for the downfall of America? And I would argue not just America, but the entire world. Right now, in the comments, let me know, who do you think is responsible for the downfall of America right now? Who do you think it is? And I would argue that it's the media. I think the media is doing the biggest injustice to the American people because they do not hold powerful people accountable, and they don't inform us on what's really going on. We know nothing of what's going on based on the media. You know, when you have a news person that's doing a story, an important story, and all of a sudden they break into it. Hold on. Please, wait a minute. We'll get right back to talking about this very important topic. It looks like Justin Bieber is about ready to be sentenced in Florida. Who gives a shit? So it's like they don't inform us. Like when they get interviews with presidential candidates or senators or congresspeople, they loft them questions. They don't hold them accountable. And they just let them get away with their canned answers that they give all the time. They just let them get away with it. And so that's why I think the media is the most responsible, because if we were an informed public, if we knew exactly what was going on, because those of you like me, we know what's going on, right? But look at the measures that we have to take to figure it out. Look at what we have to do to figure out what's really going on. We have to do, like, if you haven't seen my video from yesterday about going down rabbit holes, we have to go down rabbit holes. We have to lose sleep. We have to eat like crap. We have all of these things we have to go through in search for the truth. We're ridiculed. We're called conspiracy theorists. We're blocked from YouTube. We're censored. And if the media did their job, they would be on the same page as us. They would be the ones doing it. And then YouTube wouldn't be able to take it down, because YouTube would be like, oh, well, these investigative journalists, these real news people are talking about this. I guess we can't take it down. Otherwise, we got to take down them too. We got to take down CNN, Fox, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, all of those. We got to take them down too. So it's like completely one-sided, right? So if they were doing the job that we're out here doing, and this just reiterates the importance of independent journalism, like what Redacted does. We have to do that because the mainstream media is not doing it for us. They're not doing their job. So, and I have a lot of people who are like, I can't watch Redacted. And this has been a handful of comments. I would say probably 5 comments out of the thousands of comments I've got, but I see it where people are like, I can't watch Redacted anymore because of where they stand on Israel or where they stand on Ukraine, and that they don't want to send money to Ukraine. Well, you know what? There's several news sources that I don't agree with everything they say, but you're looking at a team with journalistic integrity who are trying to find the truth. If we don't always get it right, we don't just stop. If somebody that I'm watching doesn't get it exactly right, I don't just stop watching them. I might be like, oh, come on, Jimmy Dore, man, really? Which I don't think I really say that much with Jimmy. Jimmy just loses me because he won't let the videos play. He's like, pause. I love Jimmy, don't get me wrong, but I just think it's kind of funny. He just won't let the videos play all the way through, then go back and go through them. But there are some people where I'll be watching and I'll be like, oh, come on, really? Like, you really believe that? But that does, Tim Pool is a perfect example. Tim, a lot of times, will not commit to certain things, like certain things with, the CV thing, the C19. He wouldn't commit to certain things that others knew to be true. Like he's non-committal sometimes. And I understand that. It can alienate an audience, but there's just sometimes where I'm like, come on, Tim, just own it, man. Like, don't just sit there and beat around the bush, own it, And I think but that doesn't make me not want to go back and watch him again. Because a lot of times I agree. If you're watching Redacted and you're agreeing with 50 to 60% of what we're saying, that's better than you're getting on the mainstream media. So why just write it off and say, I'm not watching it anymore? Just because one thing we might talk about that you don't agree with, that's dangerous. Because then all you're doing is you're trying to go out there and justify or to confirm your bias. That's all you're doing. I don't want to listen to anybody that does not confirm my bias. Don't be like that. Do not be like that, because that is not healthy and it doesn't get you anywhere. It just keeps you in the same place. If you don't confirm my bias, and say that we should be sending money to Ukraine, I'm out of here. Well, if that's what you want, go watch mainstream media because they'll tell you that. They'll say that for you. So I got this thing pulled up. I'm going to be reading it, so that's why I'm not going to be looking directly at you during some of this, because I'm going to explain what Operation Mockingbird is, and then we'll get into, and I'll stop and go through what I think. So what Operation Mockingbird is, it's a CIA program that manipulated American media during the Cold War. It's not just a theory or some alleged operation. It's well documented and on record. Let's explore how it happened, the implications, and the hope for the future of journalism. So Operation Mockingbird began in the late 1940s, initiated by the CIA to counter Soviet propaganda and influence public opinion by covertly controlling the narrative in American media. Right there. Soviet propaganda in 1940. Do you think that they've been trying to convince us that Russia is the enemy for a while now? That's the whole reason in 1940 that this started by the CIA was to counter Soviet propaganda? How were the Soviets getting propaganda to the United States in the 40s? Russian spies. It's like McCarthyism, It's so frustrating. And we wonder why so many people are on board with what's going on over there in Ukraine and think Russia is the enemy, because this was set up. This was a strategic response to the growing threat of communism during the Cold War. To achieve this, the CIA didn't just infiltrate newsrooms, they recruited and paid journalists, turning them into operatives for their causes. Now think about that for 1 second. Do you think that's over? Do you think that the talking heads that we see on Fox, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, all that stuff, do you think that they're not still paid by the CIA? And the pharmaceutical industry? Because think about it. They don't tell you the truth. They don't know what we know. I mean, I would like to think they know what we know. They just don't want to tell us. But honestly, I think they just go in, they read their teleprompter, and they leave and go home to their mansion in the Hamptons and just forget about it. I don't know that some of them do know. But do you realize people like Rachel Maddow, who spreads false information worse than Alex Jones ever has, makes $100,000 a day? Rachel Maddow makes $100,000 a day, and she's supposed to understand what you're going through. She's supposed to understand us, understand you. She's so completely separated from us that, could you imagine? Like Friday rolls around and she doesn't have to worry about her paycheck. She doesn't have to worry about anything. She doesn't have to worry about where her next meal is coming from. She lives in a glass bubble. So, historical revelations. The turning point in uncovering this operation came in the mid-1970s with the Church Committee investigation. The congressional inquiry revealed extensive links between the CIA and American journalists. The committee found that more than 50 journalists had secret relationships with the CIA. These relationships were innocent collaborations, but covert operations aimed at manipulating the news. But the revelations didn't stop there. In 1977, investigative journalist Carl Bernstein, good on you, Carl, expanded on these findings. According to Bernstein, over 400 journalists were covertly working for the CIA. This included some of the most respected names in journalism from major outlets like the New York Times and Time Magazine. They were writing articles dictated by the CIA, steering public opinion in the direction the agency desired. Now, do you think that's not going on today? We know that they constantly have war contractors on, generals on as experts, or what do they call them? Not collaborators, but they actually have a word for them if they're on staff. They're actually paid to be contributor. They are an NBC contributor. But these are like people that are in the War Department. They stand to profit off war. And generals, that's credibility. That's the military getting involved, which at the end of the day is basically the CIA. So documented proof, and there's solid proof. In 1973, the CIA released the Family Jewels document, which included references to Operation Mockingbird. This document confirmed what many had suspected. The CIA had been running an extensive covert operation to influence the media for decades. Now, this is something you need to remember. The CIA is not supposed to be able to do anything. They're not supposed to be able to work within the borders of the United States. They are not supposed to be doing anything within our borders. They're actually supposed to be out there doing intelligence around the world. They do not have the right to do anything within our borders, but they do. And we know they do, and we know they have been. Propaganda in Hollywood. Operation Mockingbird wasn't limited to print and broadcast journalism. It extended to Hollywood as well. Films were used as a powerful tool to spread propaganda and influence public opinion against communism and other perceived threats. So to tell you that this is still going on, the Pentagon does contribute or does consult on movies still to this day. Now, here are some movies that the CIA or the military or the Pentagon were part of making. Top Gun, 1986. Produced with extensive assistance from the Department of Defense, this film aimed to rebrand the U.S. Navy's image in the post-Vietnam War era. Military recruiters even set up tables in cinemas during its premiere. Transformers. The blockbuster films featured significant military involvement, showcasing advanced military technology and fostering a positive image of the U.S. Armed Forces. Now, why that's important is because when they show a positive thing around the weapon, like, oh, those weapons are so cool. Wow, we're so badass. It just solidifies American supremacy and just makes people think, man, we are such a badass country. We got all the cool stuff, and we're the good guys. Black Hawk Down in 2001. This film received extensive Department of Justice assistance to accurately depict the 1993 Battle of Mogadishu. But when they say to accurately depict the battle, we know what that means. To make sure it fit the narrative that they gave us. Doesn't necessarily mean it's exactly what happened. We know that stuff doesn't happen. We know the truth about bin Laden. We know that he wasn't killed over there. We know these things. The Recruit, 2003, and Zero Dark 30, 2012. Both films had considerable input from the CIA, aiming to shape public perception of the agency and its activities of the CIA itself. Iron Man, 2008. The movie had military support to accurately portray military operations and technology, further ingraining the collaboration between Hollywood and the military-industrial complex. So they've been involved in trying to, like, basically these movies and the CIA infiltrating the media, they are able to control the narrative and make you think what they want you to think. So these movies just really highlight America, rah, 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 America, America, and gets younger generations like, man, I want to fly jets. I want to go into the military. I want to do this. It's a recruitment tool for kids. For us, it's just, wow. Because I think military jets, and like if I hear a helicopter coming from a mile away, I run outside. What is it? Oh, it's a Chinook, or a Chinook, or it's a Black Hawk or whatever. I'm just like, I'm just F-14s. Like, I love that stuff. I hate our military, but that stuff's pretty freaking cool, By co-opting Hollywood's storytelling power, the CIA and the Pentagon embedded their ideological warfare into pop culture, shaping American perceptions not just through news, but entertainment as well. And make no mistake, they still do this to this day. I mean, you can tell. When you watch a propaganda film and it's all pro-military and it doesn't show like the realities of war, it's propaganda. Like Civil War, that new movie that just came out, I don't know where that falls, but I kind of feel like that was basically an anti-Trump movie. But I'd have to get into, maybe if you guys want that. Do you guys like movies and stuff? Would you, because I like watching movies and talking about movies. Would you guys still watch vlogs if I talked about movies, like movie review kind of things? Let me know in the comments. Mainstream media today. The influence of military and intelligence agencies on media didn't end with Operation Mockingbird. To this day, mainstream media continues to use war contractors, former generals, and other military assets as so-called experts on their channels. These individuals often serve as paid contributors, regularly appearing on major news networks to provide opinions and analysis that align with military interests. This practice subtly perpetuates pro-military narratives and frames public discourse in a way that often goes unchallenged. And this is where, when we talk about people that, like, when you and I are going down rabbit holes and we're finding truth and we're coming up and we're like, man, we realize what's going on, and then we want to go share it with our friends. This is the stuff that our friends have been indoctrinated with for who knows how long. So you're fighting years potentially of propaganda, of programming, because make no mistake, that's what it is. It is programming. Propaganda is programming. It programs you to an ideology. It indoctrinates you. So you understand like how strong cults can be, and it just lures people in and holds them there, and they feel like they can't leave. A cult. That's the same thing. You're basically the people that are watching this mainstream stuff that you're trying to educate. You're trying to bring them over to your side. You're trying to say, hey, I see this coming. Please, please, please. I love you. You're my friend. I don't want to see you hurt. I don't want to see you do this. But you got to understand, they have been propagandized. They have been programmed. So when you're trying to have discussions with people, you first have to try to figure out how to deprogram them, which is a whole different thing. And then once they're deprogrammed, maybe they'd be open to your information, but while they're programmed, they're not going to hear it. It's just going to, like when you see somebody in a cult and you tell them, hey, that's a cult. No, it's not. It's not a cult. What are you talking about? We just love this place. We all just live here together. We're like brothers and sisters. It's not a cult. It's denial because they're programmed. They don't believe that it is wrong. And they're definitely not going to believe you are telling the truth because you're going against their programming. For example, former high-ranking military officials frequently appear on news channels to discuss foreign policy and military operations, which is definitely a conflict of interest. They're often introduced with their credentials, which gives their opinions added weight and credibility. However, what is rarely disclosed is their ongoing connections to defense contractors or other military industry stakeholders, which can present significant conflicts of interest, what I just said. Impact and ethics. The ethical implications of Operation Mockingbird and its modern-day counterparts are profound. The American public trusted these journalists and contributors to report and depict the truth, but instead they were often fed propaganda. The manipulation of media for political purposes undermines the very foundation of a free press, which is crucial in holding the powerful accountable and upholding democracy. Now, I know people are, we're not a democracy, we're a republic, damn it. No, I know. But a free press, that they are supposed to keep us informed. They are supposed to let us know what the hell is going on. Kennedy alluded to this several times in speeches about the media and how important it is that we get the facts. That you can't think, they can't handle the truth. We don't want to give them the truth because they'll freak out. Maybe we will, but we deserve it. We deserve to know the truth. Because instead what you have is you have us going down our own rabbit holes and trying to decipher this information on our own. And a lot of us aren't journalists. A lot of us don't have the wherewithal to know when to stop going down a rabbit hole, which turn to take, which way do I go from here? What sources do I use to do my research? Like the people that are programmed, they don't, a lot of people don't understand even where to start. They think that they've been told the truth. They think that they know what's going on. And then here you come with this information and they're like, but I've seen it on the news. I Googled it. And then you're like, well, the news has been taken over by the CIA and the news is lying to you. It's all propaganda. Google, they are also trying to inoculate you with information and they can't be trusted because, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, all right, Jay. All right, man. You and your crazy conspiracy theories, whatever. Wherever did you come up with that stuff? Well, I did a web search. Where? Yandex? What's that? A Russian search engine? Because it's the only place you can find the truth? Yeah, Ray, or what did I say? We'll just go Ray again. Ray, you're crazy, man. I see it on mainstream media, and I seen it on Google. And you're telling me that they're lying. Yep, that's what I'm telling you. All right, yeah, dude, you're crazy. Don't talk to me anymore. Off you go into the sunset with your tinfoil hat on. Tip of the tinfoil hat, right? That's what it's like. Contemporary parallels. So why does this matter today? Although Operation Mockingbird officially ended, the shadow of manipulation remains. Say it officially ended, but did it? Did it really? Like it's like once you it's like this. It's like the guy comes in that knows how to make the donuts. I know how to make the donuts. I make the best donuts. I'm the only one that makes the donuts. All right, everybody gather around. He makes the donuts, and he puts this little secret stuff in it. It's cocaine. He puts cocaine in the donuts. And he's like, that's the secret. He teaches everybody how to make the donuts. And then he's like, I'm moving on. And they all know how to make the donuts exactly the way he does because it's the core of what they learned. It became the standard operation procedure, right? It became standard operations. So even though the operation is gone, it's still there. It's still prevalent. It's still going on today. The media landscape is still vulnerable to various forms of influence. It raises questions about whether similar covert operations could be happening now, including the influence of defense contractors and retired generals, and underscores the importance of vigilance and media literacy. Now, if you don't think it's still going on today, watch this. Just watch this video really quick.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 You think it's still going on today? You think they're still reading propaganda? You think they're still pushing a narrative that they want us to think? That proves it right there. The fight against communism. Operation Mockingbird was initially created as part of a larger strategy to fight the spread of communism, like McCarthyism. Remember all those trials and stuff? Are you a communist? He's got a communist card. Oh my God, he's carrying a card. He's carrying a card. And just so you know, those were lefties. Those were lefties back in the day. But anyway, I digress. He's carrying a communism card. Oh my God, he's going to meetings. Oh my God, he's so dangerous. Anyway, during the Cold War, the fear of Soviet influence and the spread of communism led the United States to adopt various measures to protect its interests. The CIA saw controlling the media as essential in winning the ideological battle against the Soviet Union. You know why? Because everybody freaking read the newspaper back then. You know, and now everybody, well, not everybody, there's a lot of people who've cut the cords, but a lot of people watch TV still. You listen to the radio, you read the newspaper, you read articles, you read online, you go to news sites online. You might read blogs that aren't necessarily independent media. The CIA saw controlling the media as essential in winning the ideological battle against the Soviet Union. By shaping narratives and influencing public opinion, they aimed to prevent the spread of communism ideology within the United States and its allies. They don't want you to think of another idea. They don't want you to ever let socialism get in your head. Don't ever let communism get in your head. Don't ever let this get in your head. Don't ever let an idea other than what we want you to have enter your head, or we will take you down. And we're going to make sure we're going to add the CIA. We're going to take over the media and we're going to propagandize you. We are going to lie to you. We are going to manipulate you, and we are going to program you like a machine to believe what we want you to believe and go out there and spew what we want you to spew. And it's so easy for them when they do that to call us the conspiracy theorists, because it's like they're not towing the line. Oh, just like this is what the CIA coined the term during the JFK assassination, conspiracy theorists. to undermine the credibility of people who believed it didn't happen the way that they were told. It did not happen the way we were told. It's impossible. It's been proven over and over and over again. But they were able to, on the media, on the programming, those people are crazy. They're just conspiracy theorists. They're nut jobs. And that carries over to today. If you don't follow the main line, the mainstream, you are crazy. You are a conspiracy theorist. And it's so easy for them to label you that that's where it's coming from when your friends say it. That's where it's coming from when your family says it, because they are programmed. They've been programmed by Operation Mockingbird. Conclusion. Operation Mockingbird and the broader military entertainment complex stand as stark reminders of how media can be manipulated by powerful entities, but they also serve as calls to action, to support independent journalism, to remain critical of the narratives we are fed, and to ensure that the media remains a pillar of truth in our society. That is the most important part of media, is informing the public so that we know the truth, so that we can stand for the truth, and so that we can fight for the truth. Because if we don't know the truth and we think we do, what you have now is you have people fighting for lies who think they are fighting for truth. Can we be upset with them for that? Can we really be mad at them for that? Because they think they have the truth. And they think we're crazy because we think we have the truth. But that's the perfect storm. The CIA and the government has created the perfect storm because they know that we will fight each other over this. They know how freaking how programming works, how effective programming is. That's what I was trying to say. They know how effective it is, because this isn't the only time they've used it. They've used it throughout history. There's even things that I've seen about them putting frequencies and stuff in the air in certain countries and making people do things. And this is documented as well. If you guys don't watch the Y-Files, anybody in here watch the Y-Files? The Y-Files is one of my favorite YouTube channels, and he covers a lot of stuff like this. And he covers it kind of, it's funny the way he covers things, because he does like what I'm doing right now. He's telling you what, like, basically the facts as they're known, or whatever. And then you have the hecklefish, which is in a jar that's got a tinfoil hat on it, and it's the conspiracy theorist. So it'll spit out the things that we think, right? The conspiracies, and then he's just and then the guy's just kind of like, well, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Like it's a perfect like combination, and I just like the way he really delivers the information. But they have used programming in certain wars. And we're able to manipulate people to do things they wouldn't normally do. And there are other situations, and I'm not going to get into them because of YouTube, but there are other situations where we know that feds met with people before they ever did something, they ever did an act, and when they were found, they were completely like, huh? What? Huh? I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to say what you all want me to say, which is beep. What do you think? What do you think? Do you agree with me that the media is doing the biggest injustice to the American people by not keeping us informed, by not helping us know the truth? Because if we were educated and we knew, like the media called out what a liar Joe Biden was many, many, many years ago. They used to have good media. Remember the Walter Cronkites? Remember the back in the day of Ted Koppel and Sam Davidson, Sam Donaldson, Barbara Walters. I mean, you just had journalists back then, and I remember specifically 2020 was going to do a story on raw milk or something like that. I can't remember if it was raw milk or if it was like milk or something. And the milk lobby did not want them to do this documentary. And the journalists that were doing the documentary, they're like, okay, yeah, whatever, we're doing it. And then sure enough, from the top, they're like, yeah, you're not doing that documentary. Like, what? You're not doing that documentary. They pay ad money. We're not, they pay good ad money. We're not doing the documentary. And they shut down the documentary. We know the story, brought to you by Pfizer, brought to you by Pfizer. We know that, right? It's about the Benjamins, and it's also about control. It's like, okay, we can't put out this narrative But if we put out this narrative, all these companies will buy ads. So here we go, people. Buckle up. So do you agree? And do you understand? Does it make sense that like what I said about going down rabbit holes? Like I had one person in the comments today, which it'll be yesterday for you when you see this. So again, we're doing the future timeline thing. A guy said, if somebody came to me and they were shitty to me when I was telling them something and they were shitty because I was trying to tell them the truth, I would never forgive them. That I would move on and that relationship would be over. But I really feel like we have to try to understand. We have to try to put ourselves in their shoes. You might have been somebody who was programmed at one time. I was. You guys remember Shock and Awe, Desert Storm? Woohoo, Shock and Awe. I laid there on the couch and watched Iraq get bombed. And I was just like, yes, kill them. I bought into it. But then later, once I started opening my eyes, I realized I was wrong. And then I was like, holy cow, they sold it like it was a football game, like it was a sports game, a sporting event. Look at this jet, 3D, dude. It does this. It has a missile on the front. It blah, blah, blah. Like a football player. They're just telling you all about this weapon. Then it shows the missile. Here's the missiles we're using. Rah, rah, rah. And purposefully not showing you caskets of people coming home because they made that mistake in Vietnam. They made the mistake of showing you the caskets, showing you the realities of war, and couldn't have that because millions of people protested the Vietnam War. Millions of people went to Washington and wanted that over because they saw the realities. So then when this came around, they're like, we learned during Vietnam, do not show caskets with flags over it. There was a time where they made a mistake and showed caskets with flags over it, and they were like, boom, never, somebody got in trouble for that. They're like, nope, do not do that. No caskets, no flags, no bodies. We cannot let people see the casualties of war. No. Far too powerful of a tool to make people want to protest it. So instead, they're like, I know what we can do. Let's just make it look cool. And they did. I bought it. I bought into it. So you have to remember there was probably one time or another where you bought into it too. And you had to go through the process of unlearning what you had learned, deprogramming yourself. And then what's cool about that though is like through that process, once you start realizing the truth, once you go down some rabbit holes, it becomes easier to spot. It's almost as if you don't even have to go all the way down a rabbit hole anymore to smell shit, right? You smell shit in this hole, you come out of that rabbit hole, and then you're like, oh, well, that lines up the same way. It's like, then you just start to see it. But you had to get there. You had to go through the process to get there. So don't think that you can just walk up to somebody who's programmed and be like, you're wrong. Come over here. You're wrong. You're an idiot. You're freaking wrong. Shut up. You're wrong. It's not going to work. You got to figure out what have they been programmed with? What programming have they gotten? And you got to dismantle that first. Dismantle the programming if you can. A lot of times it's just like sharing things. If you can find credible sources to share things. What I do like though is there are a lot more independent journalists websites and stuff that are becoming more credible to people. So they're starting to listen a little bit more. I mean, if you pay attention to, like for instance, when the WHO posted on X the other day about the bird flu, woo, Lord, nobody, not one positive comment like, thank you, WHO, for doing everything to protect us. You're amazing. You're great. None of that. It was all, not this time. Nope, not going to happen. We're not falling for it again. Nope. And somebody there's got to see that and be like,
hello? Yeah. Yeah, let me get the big guy on the phone. Hey, big guy. We might want to rethink this. They're not buying it. Yeah, I know. No, the post was really compelling. No, it was. It was so compelling. Like, if they don't fall for it, I was when I was writing that post, I was like, if they don't fall for this, they are stupid. Well, let me tell you, there are some stupid freaking conspiracy theorists out here. They're nuts. They're idiots. Yeah. Okay, well, we just got to think of something else. Yeah. Can we bring Ebola back or something? Something that they, like, can we bring the bubonic plague or something back, maybe? Something that has a history that they'll be like, oh, that already existed, no? Oh, too much evidence? Okay. All right. Well, thanks, big guy. We'll figure something out. We'll get him somehow. It's not gonna be the bird flu, but we'll get him somehow. All right, bye.
You know, that's what it's like, right? So just try to be patient with people. You know, don't try not to end friendships. Try not to end relationships. You know, as hard as it might be, you can get pissed off all you want. I've gotten so pissed off at my mom, so pissed off at my dad. Let's just agree to disagree. Okay. You know, like sometimes you can just be the bigger person and agree to disagree and just wait for the moment, wait for the thing that comes along that might make them see the thing that made you see. You know, you had that one thing in your life that you were like, oh my gosh, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't add up. But you had your moment. And you had your moment to go, you know, into whatever you wanted to go into from there. But they didn't have that yet. So either be patient and wait for them to have that moment, or find a way to, like I said in my rabbit hole video yesterday, try to find a way to ask them questions that pokes holes in their own narrative. If you can figure out those questions, you know, it's like you're trying to figure out, how do I get through to this? I care about this person. I want them to be in the same page as me. How do I get to them? And try to figure out a way to let them dismantle their own narrative. They're never going to listen if you try to dismantle their narrative for them. Nobody will. You know, it's like the pushback we get on Redacted all the time. When we first started talking about Ukraine, we got so much freaking pushback. When we first started talking about COVID, we got so much pushback, especially me. I had people hunting me down on social media and telling me that I was going to be responsible for a bunch of deaths. And I was just like, holy cow, people are crazy. But they've been programmed, right? But then it's like there was this huge shift. And look at how many people shifted from believing it to not believing it because it didn't make sense. They were able to, they somehow were able to poke holes in the narrative that they'd been given, because a lot of it didn't make sense right from the beginning. It didn't to me. When they said 6 feet, I was like, 6 feet? What if I'm downwind? What if I'm upwind? What if it's raining? What if they cough? You know what I mean? Like it made no sense to me. That was the moment I was like, 6 feet, why? If it's 6 feet, but you know what? It's 6 feet. But if we really want to be safe, we should probably make it 20, because, you know, we don't want people to get sick. So let's make it 20 feet. That would make more sense to me. Like, let's make it 1.5 feet. You need to be 1.5 feet away from somebody. Why? Well, is that how far molecule or like saliva and stuff flies out when you sneeze? Oh, no, that doesn't stop. That just keeps on going. So why 6 feet? I don't know. Makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. So, but you look at how many people the narrative broke down for. A lot. Because when the chat shifted on Redacted, I could see it. And then it became, it's funny because people forget where they came from. Never forget where you came from. Never forget that you one time might have been programmed. You might be one of the lucky ones that never was. Like, I was never programmed. I never believed any of this malarkey. I saw through all of it. Okay, you're a lucky person, but a lot of people didn't. But if you're one of those people that didn't understand, you were there once. And then the narrative fell apart for you at some part along the way. So you just have to either wait for that moment with that person or the people that you care about, if you actually care about them, or just figure out ways to let them tear down their own belief, their own narrative, dismantle it. Because like I said in the vlog yesterday about the rabbit holes, there's only one line to the truth. If they're on a line out here that is not the truth, there's holes. There are always holes in the story that is not the truth. Always. And they can find them if you help them, ask the right questions to understand the straight line to the truth. Because the truth, that like there's no curve to the truth. It's just right to the truth. So you got to figure out, where are they? How far out away from the truth are they? Are they saying things that are, partly true? What is the part of what they're saying that doesn't add up to the truth, that doesn't lead directly to the truth? And figure that out. Have better conversations. So you guys, I am absolutely loving these conversations. And I don't know if you like this format. Like, do you like it better when I'm outside? Do you like it better when I'm inside? Like, I'm just kind of get a gauge of what you're liking. And then don't forget, I'm live every Friday, 10 a.m. East Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern every Friday. So you can come join live and we can have discussions in real time. And how it generally works, I'm going to deliver a topic like I did now, and then I will open it up at the end for open Q&A, and I'll just read comments. We'll hang out for a while. And we had like 1,000 people on last time. That was amazing. I really appreciate everybody who showed up. I appreciate everybody who's commenting, liking, and appreciate, because like, if you like a video or whatever, or you share it, or you subscribe to the channel, that helps YouTube think, oh, this channel, this people really like it. Let's share it with more people. Every action that you take on this channel, I really appreciate, but it also tells YouTube that they should appreciate it too, and they should share it out. And I understand YouTube is not the best place to be, but I have faith that at one point, once independent journalism becomes more credible, that YouTube's going to have no choice but to change their practices, or they will be left behind. I just know that day is coming. A reckoning is coming. A reckoning is coming. A reckoning is coming. So it's the old, you say you want a revolution. Well, we'd all love to see the plan. If you would like to become a member and get exclusive content and help support me in making these vlogs and keeping this channel going, then become a member. You can become a member for as low as $2.99 a month, and you'll get extra content, extra videos, extra pictures. I just posted some pictures of pizza earlier. Oh shit, I was meant to do that as members only, and I didn't. But anyway, you get early releases on Monday or Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday or Saturday. I'm all over the place right now. I don't know what's going on. My mouth is just not wanting to work. If you want to become a member, become a member. If you don't, it's absolutely fine. It's not a requirement. You can still participate in the conversation. And also, I did a poll, and I was asking people about starting a Telegram channel, but I was thinking that through. How many of you would be more interested in Discord? And the reason I asked that is because if we do Discord, if you are a member on YouTube, I can actually set it up so that I can bring your membership into Discord, and then you can connect, and we can have a private room for members to hang out and chat, connected directly to YouTube. And if you don't like YouTube, you can become a member in Discord and still get access to that paid room based on that. So it would be a way that I could have both in one place. And it's a real-time chat app and stuff. But that's the only option I have to tie it to YouTube, so that your YouTube membership could be used in different places. So if you'd be interested in Discord over Telegram, just give me a thumbs up in the comments below. If I see a bunch of thumbs up, we might start a Discord. It's going to take me a while to build it if we decide we're going to do that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching these vlogs and hanging out with me. I hope you're enjoying the conversation. I hope you're enjoying realizing you're not alone in this. That you've got a community that is in the same place as you are. We're seeking the truth, and we're trying to educate our friends and family and tell them and get them over here to be part of the purple revolution that is coming, right? It's coming. The revolution is coming. All right. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow.